This aircraft has no pilot, but it can fly beside American fighter jets, search for threats, share targeting data, and carry weapons into places the Pentagon may consider too dangerous for a human crew. It is called the YFQ-44A, and the company building it was founded by a young technology entrepreneur better known for creating a virtual reality headset. Palmer Luckey is now building autonomous aircraft, interceptor drones, cruise missiles, surveillance towers, and the artificial intelligence network designed to connect them. But his most ambitious product may not be any single weapon. It may be an attempt to completely rewrite how America prepares for war. For decades, America's largest weapons programs have been controlled by a small group of enormous defense contractors. Their aircraft, ships, and missile systems can take decades to develop and cost billions of dollars before entering combat. Luckey believes that system is too slow for an age of cheap drones, mass-produced missiles, artificial intelligence, and rapidly changing battlefields. His answer is Anduril Industries, a defense startup built less like a traditional contractor and more like a Silicon Valley software company. And that creates a much bigger question. Is Anduril simply developing new military equipment, or is Palmer Luckey building the operating system for America's future wars? Luckey did not begin his career designing missiles. As a teenager, he collected obsolete virtual reality equipment and experimented with headsets inside a trailer belonging to his parents. The problem was simple. Existing virtual reality systems were enormous, expensive, and often disappointing. Luckey believed modern smartphone components could make them lighter, cheaper, and dramatically better. He built prototype after prototype, sometimes taking the devices apart immediately after testing them. In 2012, that obsession became Oculus VR. Its Kickstarter campaign exceeded its original goal within hours and eventually raised nearly $2.5 million. Less than 2 years later, Facebook announced that it would acquire Oculus for approximately $2 billion. Luckey had helped transform virtual reality from a failed promise into a major technology industry. But the relationship with Facebook would not last, and the way it ended would redirect him from video games toward the battlefield. In 2017, Luckey left Facebook under circumstances that remained politically controversial and publicly disputed. The important consequence was not simply that he lost his position. It was that he began looking for another industry where software, inexpensive sensors, and rapid experimentation could overturn an established system. He chose defense. To Luckey, the Pentagon had a dangerous problem. Its most sophisticated weapons were extremely capable, but they were also slow to develop, expensive to replace, and difficult to produce at wartime scale. A rival did not necessarily need to build better weapons. It could win by building enough affordable weapons to overwhelm America's limited supply. That realization became the foundation of Anduril. But to understand why the company attracted the Pentagon, we first need to understand the system connecting nearly everything it builds. Anduril calls that system Lattice. Imagine several cameras, radars, drones, and surveillance towers observing the same area. Each sensor produces its own stream of information. A traditional command center may require multiple operators to watch different screens, interpret what they see, and manually communicate with other units. Lattice is designed to combine those separate feeds into one shared picture. Its software can detect an object, classify it, follow its movement, and distribute that information to the people and machines connected to the network. A small drone approaching a protected base might first appear on radar. A camera could then identify its shape. Another sensor could calculate its direction and speed. Lattice can fuse those observations into a single track and recommend which available system should respond. That is the crucial idea behind Anduril. The company is not merely selling the Pentagon another drone. It is attempting to connect sensors, aircraft, missiles, and soldiers through a common software platform. The weapon sees through the network learns from every connected sensor, and the operator receives a decision in seconds instead of searching through separate screens. But what happens after the system identifies a threat? That is where Anduril's hardware enters the story. Anduril began with surveillance systems capable of monitoring borders and military installations. Its sentry towers combine cameras, radar, and autonomous detection software. Its Ghost aircraft can provide reconnaissance without requiring a conventional runway. But observation was only the beginning. Roadrunner is a reusable autonomous aircraft designed to intercept aerial threats. Unlike a conventional missile, it can launch vertically, pursue a target, and, if the mission is canceled, return and land for another flight. Barracuda represents a different strategy. It is a family of relatively affordable, software-defined cruise missiles designed for mass production. The objective is not to create one exquisite weapon that America can barely afford to lose. It is to manufacture large numbers of adaptable weapons before a conflict makes them urgently necessary. Together, these systems reveal Luckey's larger argument. Future wars may not be won by the country possessing the single most advanced platform. They may be won by the country capable of producing, connecting, and updating thousands of autonomous systems faster than its opponent can destroy them. And Anduril's most important test of that argument is now taking place in the air. The United States Air Force calls the concept collaborative combat aircraft. The idea is to send autonomous aircraft into battle alongside crewed fighters. These aircraft could carry additional weapons, extend sensor coverage, distract enemy defenses, or enter contested airspace before a human pilot. Anduril's aircraft is now designated the YFQ-44A. The letter Y identifies it as a prototype. The letter F indicates a fighter mission, and the Q marks it as uncrewed. In July 2026, the Air Force announced that the YFQ-44A had completed a live fire test involving an AIM-120 air-to-air missile against a digital target. That did not mean the aircraft had independently decided to attack. The Air Force explicitly stated that the release of weapons remains under human authority. But the test demonstrated something strategically important. An autonomous aircraft could receive information through a network, maneuver as part of a larger formation, and contribute to the same combat process used by crewed fighters. The Pentagon's objective extends far beyond a small experiment. The Air Force has said it wants more than 150 combat-capable collaborative combat aircraft by the end of the decade, with an eventual planned inventory of approximately 1,000. If that vision becomes reality, America's future Air Force may no longer consist only of increasingly expensive jets carrying human pilots. A smaller number of human-controlled aircraft could direct larger formations of autonomous teammates, and that possibility leads directly to Anduril's greatest challenge. Building a prototype is one thing. Producing weapons at the scale required for a major war is something else entirely. Anduril calls its manufacturing strategy Arsenal. The company is building Arsenal 1, a massive production facility in Ohio intended to manufacture autonomous aircraft and weapons at a much larger scale. The logic reflects lessons visible in Ukraine and other modern conflicts. Advanced equipment can be destroyed faster than traditional factories can replace it. Cheap drones can force militaries to spend far more expensive missiles defending valuable targets. And software may need to change within days as enemies develop new electronic defenses and countermeasures. Anduril wants to treat military production more like a modern technology platform. Build common components. Use software to modify behavior. Redesign systems rapidly, and manufacture enough units that losing some in combat does not end the campaign. Luckey is therefore selling the Pentagon more than aircraft and missiles. He is selling speed. But speed creates its own risks, especially when software begins performing tasks previously assigned to human operators. Artificial intelligence does not need to pull a trigger to influence a lethal decision. It can determine which object receives attention. It can classify behavior as suspicious. It can recommend which weapon is best positioned to respond. And it can compress a decision that once required several minutes into a few seconds. Supporters argue that this can protect soldiers, reduce reaction time, and allow one operator to manage far more information than would otherwise be possible. Critics see a different danger. An algorithm can misidentify an object, sensors can be deceived, data can be incomplete, and a human asked to approve an AI recommendation within seconds may become less of a decision maker and more of a final confirmation step. There are also questions of dependence. If the military relies on a privately developed operating system to connect sensors and weapons, how much control does one company gain over the architecture of national defense? Who audits the software? Who is responsible when the system is wrong? And what happens when two rival militaries use artificial intelligence to accelerate their decisions at the same time? The danger may not be a machine suddenly choosing to start a war. It may be two human governments receiving machine-generated warnings and recommendations faster than either has time to understand them. This is why Palmer Luckey's real competition is larger than another defense contractor. He is challenging the culture through which America has built weapons for generations. Traditional companies usually develop systems in response to detailed government requirements. Anduril often invests its own money, builds a working product first, and then attempts to convince the military that it needs it. That approach can produce new technology quickly. It can also create expensive systems before the government has clearly defined how they should be used. Anduril's future will therefore depend on more than spectacular prototypes or enormous contracts. It must prove that its systems work reliably outside controlled demonstrations, that its factories can deliver at scale, that its software can survive electronic warfare, and that human accountability does not disappear as machines take over more of the process. Palmer Luckey began by trying to place a digital world in front of the human eye. Now he is building machines intended to see the battlefield before a human can. That may be the most important connection between Oculus and Anduril. Both companies were created around the same fundamental ambition: use software and sensors to change how people perceive reality. But on a battlefield, perception determines what is considered a threat, what becomes a target, and how quickly someone decides to act. Anduril may succeed in making America's military faster, cheaper, and more adaptable. But the system that sees the battlefield first may also shape every decision that follows. The next contest in military power will not simply be about who owns the best fighter, missile, or drone. It will be about who controls the network connecting all of them, and how much authority humans are willing to give it. If you want to understand how artificial intelligence is entering the military decision process, subscribe. Because the next question is even more important. When Pentagon AI identifies a target, how much of the final decision still belongs to a human?